Good morning, class. This morning I'd like to tell you a little story about someone in my family tree named George Frederick Bollinger. A couple of weeks ago I was driving in southeast Missouri on Highway 60 and saw a big sign that said Bollinger State Historic Site with an arrow, and so I followed the arrows to a little town called Marble Hill. And at Marble Hill, I saw this huge grist mill, 4 stories tall, made out of brick. And next to it was a covered bridge. Both of them were referred to as the Bollinger grist mill and covered bridge. I toured the grist mill and examined the bridge. And very, very interesting. I called my daughter-in-law, who had been doing some work in the family genealogy, and told her about the mill, and she indicated that she had discovered information about the Battle of Kings Mountain, that we had a relative who fought in the Battle of Kings Mountain, one of the most significant fought in the South, and that the George Frederick Bollinger was a captain at the time and played a very significant part in that battle. George Frederick Bollinger went on to rise to the rank of colonel, and at the end of the Revolutionary War, he migrated to southeast Missouri. And there, in talking with sheriff and some land managers, he bought an old Spanish land grant of about 1,000 acres. But the deed had a comment that whoever bought it had to develop the land within 10 years. So George Frederick went back to North Carolina, got his 4 younger brothers and 15 neighbors, talked to them about Missouri and the fertility of the soil, and convinced them that they should move with him back to southeast Missouri. And so that November, they set out in wagons for southeast Missouri. They got to the Mississippi River in December, just as ice was beginning to form. And so they waited 2 weeks for the ice to get thick enough for their wagons and horses to cross the river. And then that spring planted crops and became successful farmers. There is a further story about the Trail of Tears, the movement of the 15 Cherokee tribes from Georgia out to Oklahoma. That several of the women, the Indian women, were pregnant, and along the way they delivered their babies. And when they did, they would often wrap the baby in a blanket, put it in a basket, and leave it on a nearby farmer's front porch. And that's what happened in Marble Hill, that the Indian column spent the night close by. One of the women delivered her baby, and it was winter, and so they weren't able to care for the baby very well. They wrapped the baby in a blanket and a basket and put the baby on a farmer's front porch. And so the Bollinger head of the household the next morning heard a baby crying on the front porch. Turned out to be an Indian girl that they took into their family and raised as their own. And she went to the local school and eventually married a man from Marble Hill, had a family, and apparently were very happy. Anyway, I appreciate your attention. Look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.